as a young man, you are not worried enough.
Looksmaxxing, sometimes going to extremes in hopes of making themselves as attractive as possible, going as far as hitting their own facial bones with hammers. He's also claimed to have used crystal meth to try to stay skinny.
You have what you have, and that's it. But you can maximize it because we know that looks and appearance can get you things like a better job or more income.
Friends,
I mean, it's horrifying.
I am so deep in the void right now. I am down the rabbit hole of Looksmaxxing.
The influencer facing battery charge in Osceola County, he walked out of jail just a few hours ago.
Because I am in the darkest corners of this, and I can't believe that this is real life.
I'm so ugly. I need to change all this now. I wish I could just look better. Oh, gosh. I need to change. I know I'm gonna need some help to do it. I'm ready to start Looksmaxxing. So I've been seeing a lot of this Looksmaxxing on the internet, and it's really been inspiring me that, hey, maybe I should be Looksmaxxing too. But when it comes to me wanting to go on this journey to Ascension, so to say, I really need to do it the right way. I don't want to be doing the wrong thing. I don't want to mess up and possibly hurt myself. So what I think I really need right now is a mentor. Momentarily, I'm going to be sitting down speaking with Hunter Neely. Now, Hunter is an online fitness coach who helps men with various Looksmaxxing techniques. I think Hunter's going to be a great asset through my journey to Ascension.
What's up, Jake?
Nothing much. I'm wanting to learn how to Looksmaxx here, and I think you may be the guy to help me. But before I start this, I just want to know, why should I be Looksmaxxing?
Kind of seems like a silly question at this point. Why should you be Looksmaxxing? Because, as much as we don't want to agree with this or think this, so much of what we get in life and how we're perceived by others is our looks and how well we look, at least to that specific person and that interaction.
So then, what really is Looksmaxxing then? Is it just about physical appearance?
Looksmaxxing in of itself is essentially, yes, just physical appearance. It's the art of doing everything in your power to look as good as possible. And there's soft maxing, there's hard maxing, there's a bunch of different things you can do in that.
Soft maxing is traditional, safer Looksmaxxing methods. Hard maxing is experimental, more dangerous Looksmaxxing methods.
Doing that, but Looksmaxxing of itself is just looking as good as possible.
So then, how can I Looksmaxx?
Yeah. Well, you need to take the black pill first.
The black pill is an ideology that looks matter above everything else.
First off, if you haven't heard of that, you need to research the black pill. And you can go from mewing to little cope at this point. That's how it started.
Mewing is proper tongue posture to improve facial structure.
Peptides are probably the easiest and most efficient way. You can go as far as bone smashing, surgery maxing, height maxing. You could even, tan maxing, all that type of stuff. And obviously even your IQ on the subject itself will help.
Okay, Hunter, I think I know where to start. Thank you for your help.
Of course. Best of luck.
So after talking with Hunter, he really gave me a whole information overload on Looksmaxxing as a whole. And I think before I really start my journey towards Ascension, I need to sit down and learn about the origins of this movement. Thankfully, a Looksmaxxing historian, Noah Brown, has agreed to meet with me here today. He's going to hopefully give me the information I need so I know really the background on this whole Looksmaxxing trend. So Noah, I think I've been wanting to ascend, but before I do that, I think I kind of got to know the history here. So like, how far back does Looksmaxxing really go?
That's great. That's really great, first off, that you want to ascend. That's really good. A lot of people believe that Looksmaxxing is just a recent thing, but it's not. It's not at all. It can be tracked like all the way back to biblical times, even. Like, for example, Saul, in the Bible, it's told that he's very tall and good looking, right? He's mogging. He's Looksmaxxing, some would say. But you could also see it in ancient Greece with all the statues. And then more recently, bodybuilding, you know, huge Looksmaxxing right there.
So, Noah, like I keep on seeing like all these weird terminologies and you keep on dropping mogging. Like, what is mogging, first off? What's that word even mean?
So mogging is simply just looking better than someone else.
So what is hard maxing then? Maybe I want to be a hard max. What are some things in hard maxing?
Okay, bone smashing.
Bone smashing is hammering facial bones to create microfractures to improve facial structure.
You can also take drugs and do peptides, which you can inject yourself with those.
What about this Clav character? We keep on hearing about clavicular. Who even really is he?
So Clav is the stereotype, I would say, of extreme hard maxing, and now he has ascended.
We're talking about Clav, and what a lot of people really saw him on social media was he was brutally frame mogged by the ASU frat leader. Can you please really break down really what that is?
This guy, an ASU, Arizona State frat leader, walked up to him, took a picture with him, except he had an incredible frame.
Frame is the underlying body structure, especially clavicle width and overall proportions that determine how wide, balanced, and visually striking your physique appears.
So much better, to the point where people were saying that Clav got frame mogged because of this. It's the big catastrophe when it comes to Looksmaxxing.
On social media, there's a lot of edits and stuff like that. Do we think Looksmaxxing is now almost becoming a meme of itself, or is the meme part of Looksmaxxing itself is being able to joke around as well?
That's a really good question. I would say originally it was just people trying to better themselves. You know, it's pure, just people trying to look better, get more fit, all that. But with social media and all that, just the culture that we live in, people want to make jokes with the extremes of Looksmaxxing, like Clav, for example. There's a lot of jokes being made, and it's became more of a meme, but it has made it more popular. It's popularized Looksmaxxing as a whole. It's made it a lot bigger.
So you're giving me a lot of good information here, and now I kind of feel like I know the history behind this whole movement and culture. Like, what do you think I should do next?
I think you need to meet a Looksmaxxer, a real Looksmaxxer.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So, Noah left us with a mission: find and talk to a Looksmaxxer. So right now, I am en route to a Looksmaxxer in Stillwater named Kieran White, and I guess he's going to tell us how to Looksmax.
You know, growing up, got bullied. You know, low confidence, not very muscular, kind of small. You know, just the usual. Afterwards, you know, I became a lot more confident. I don't have bad anxiety anymore. And, you know, people are naturally just attracted to me.
All right, so how did you start like Looksmaxxing? Like what was the first thing you started doing?
Honestly, it was just taking better care of myself, investing in some better products, paying more attention to my appearance, dressing better, focusing on the gym a little more than I used to. I wanted to stand out, you know. You got to go above and beyond if you want to get the maximum reward.
What is everything you're taking?
Right now, I'm on TRT, GHK Copper, melanotan, and retatrutide. For the TRT and the retatrutide, I do 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And for the GHK copper melanotan, I take a smaller dose every day.
Do you think this is going to affect your body in the long term, and do you care if it affects your body?
I don't give a fuck. I think the FDA is a scam.
Yeah.
You know, they are deliberately controlling stuff for the purposes of, like, I feel like to keep people unhealthy sometimes. Because, like, I don't even think creatine or pre-workout is FDA approved. Honestly, with how society is and, you know, specifically dating culture, because that's kind of why I got into it. Yes, looks matter above all else, but you can't just be good looking and not have anything else to go with it, because that's only surface level. That gets your foot in the door. I'm not going to try and pressure anybody into doing something that they don't want. They can stay over there and stay natural, and we'll keep getting better.
6, 9, 6, 6, 7, 6, 4, 8. Purchase.
Got a package. So, Kieran convinced me, and in that package, we got a bunch of goodies here. Alcohol wipes, syringes, reconstituting solution, and most importantly, the peptides. Now, before I do these little things, I'm really concerned. And with this concern that I have, I think I need to get a second opinion on them, and I know just the guy to go to. Okay, y'all. So I mentioned that I knew the perfect guy to talk to, and that's gonna be Dr. Ariel, who's over there. But today, I really want to get my peptides checked out. I wanna see what's in them. I wanna know what's gonna happen when I start taking them. I wanna know everything about them, stuff that's way smarter than I am. So Dr. Ariel's gonna put the peptides in there, and he's gonna sit down and tell us all about them.
So I got to work in the lab. As I was working, Dr. Ariel was explaining to me everything I needed to know about the machines I was going to be dealing with, which I definitely understood. But before I could examine the results of our peptides, I need to know what exactly I was even dealing with here.
So, Dr. Ariel, what really is a peptide and a protein?
So the peptides are built by the amino acid sequences. Okay, so let's start with protein. These are basically the workhorse in our system. The proteins and peptide, they carry out the functions. Like we're talking about the muscle building, you're doing exercises, you are thinking through your brain, you are working, so all the energy generation, metabolism. So these are the proteins and peptides, they are carrying out those functions.
So, while I was testing the peptide, we ended up finding some very interesting results out.
Component of amino acid. So in the nature, if there is a C13 molecule, C13, C12, C13, C14, you can precisely measure. So what we call typically we call this isotopic patterns.
All right. So moral of the story is our peptide looks good.
Yeah.
Our peptide looks good.
Even though our peptide looked pure, I still want to know what exactly this was going to do to my body.
Okay, so then I had you analyze some peptides. What would be like some pros and cons of peptide use in the body compared to like traditional like steroids and stuff like that?
So the peptide based function is let's talk about the GLP drug, GLP-1 or GLP-3. Yes, so this drug is used for the patients with obesity. Yes, so and also patients with the type 2 diabetes. So then when this the GLP-1 or GLP-3, these synthetic drugs, how they function is they regulate glucose. So for example, if there is more glucose, they inhibit there is an enzyme called glucagon. Yes, the glucagon is a hormone. It regulates the glucose, so it controls the release of those glucagon from liver, so that there is a less sugar circulating in your blood. The other thing is the drug works is it also controls the release of your food when you eat food from stomach to intestine. there is a less release of those foods. That means what? You are not feeling appetite. Yes. Yeah. So that's another way that a drug works. There is a fourth work is the way we are always feeling appetite is something to do with our brain system. So our brain controls our appetite. So when you take this drug, then it is sending the signal to our brain so that you are always satiated. Your satiety always permanent. That's why you are not constantly eating. So using those the different mechanism in the system. So then you can. It's good for this the people with having the type 2 diabetes too. But it also turns out to be very useful when you are in the weight loss program.
So, $1 million question here for you. Would you ever start taking peptides and proteins?
Yes, if I need, yes. For example, if let's say I'm the diabetic patient, for example, and if I'm overweight, I need to control. Absolutely, yes.
You want to take them just for the sake of taking them?
No, I will not take it for the sake of taking them because there is a downside too. So maybe I know where you are going from here is the side effect. Always, I mean, anything you take in our system, yes, there is always a side effect. Yes, so you don't want to take those drugs until you absolutely need to take it.
So, after meeting with everyone thus far, I think I really have a good grasp on what the physical changes that are going to happen to me while I start Looksmaxxing. But I got to thinking, I should start looking towards the mental aspect. After emailing professors for days and days with no reply, I finally got an email back. But it turns out it wasn't actually a professor, just an alumni with the same name, so I was sending an email to the wrong person. But this Miss Jordan gave us some very interesting information to go off of.
Jake and Paul, I'm not the Professor Evan Jordan, but an alumni who still has my email address. I do not know her email, but felt I should inform you. If you want my opinion, which is not based in any scientific research, I'll sum it up below. Aside from being practiced by the lamest people in the world, Looksmaxxing is dangerous. It exposes young people to toxic ideologies, negatively impacts self-esteem, causes unsafe use of substances, and can lead to eating disorders. This fad appears to be pushed by young streamers, predominantly men, who look like this, and that alone should convince people not to participate. Thanks for reaching out. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks. Evan Jordan.
Well, thank you, Jordan. That information in your email really provided me with a good launching point, so to say, and I think I need to start doing research on what the internet has to say about Looksmaxxers.
Confessions of a Black Looksmaxxer. Handsome at any cost. It's downright demonic. Looksmaxxing, anyone engaged with Looksmaxxing is dumb as F. I can't take it seriously. I think Starbucks is a retard flavor shop there. These dudes are gonna kill us. Sculpting jaws, giving scores inside the world of Looksmaxxing. I'm gonna kill myself. What's wrong with Looksmaxxing? OMG, this is not new at all. Looksmaxxing has always been blatantly racist. The low IQ terms, blogging, black pill, etc. I wish TikTok would let go of this BS already. Absolute cancer. Am I mogging in this? I'm pretty confident in my looks, and I got plenty of girls. You're so ugly. Then I found Looksmaxxing, and I went really down. Methods to Looksmaxxing. WTF is Looksmaxxing? Who's coming up with these terms?
So after a very long and intense study research session on Looksmaxxing, I was able to come up with a Looksmaxxing pros and cons list. You know, your pros, you got the halo effect, confidence, you're sexy, girls, everyone loves girls, and maybe a lot more opportunities are at your disposal because you're attractive. But when it gets to the cons here, that's where we start to see a lot of problems. So a big one that I was looking at is mental health. And mental health can mean a lot of different things, but pertaining to Looksmaxxing, it'd be your mental health being like, I'm so ugly, like I'm not as attractive as, say, clavicular, so I hate myself for it, and I know I'll never be Chad. I'm just like a low-tier normie.
The Looksmaxxing scale goes from subhuman to low tier normie, mid tier normie, high tier normie, then to Chad light, and finally Chad. And that could really affect people to do a lot of different stuff, be depressed, or even in extreme cases, self-harm. People perceive Looksmaxxers as dumb, as in they're just like blockheads, you know, meatheads, jocks, just that they're not that smart. Very sexist that all these people treat women like objects. And on treating women like objects, they see, oh, this girl won't do something for me. Well, I'm so attractive, I have another one lined up. So just on to the next one. And they really dehumanize women, and that's their point of view on it. Inherently, this could be a racist movement where if you're not a attractive race, so to say, according to the Looksmaxxers, you're not ideal human phenotype, then you're out of luck and you'll never be as attractive as you could possibly could be. And then probably the worst one of all, very self-centered. So the sin of pride is definitely in effect all over this movement.
You know, y'all, ever since I did all that researching, it's got me thinking, I'm starting to get a lot of doubts on if I should really be Looksmaxxing or not. So what I've done is I've set up another meeting with Hunter. So I'm gonna bring to him all my issues here, and I wanna see if maybe he could set the record straight on this whole thing. Hey Hunter, it's been a while since we last talked, and I've been going on this journey, like learning about Looksmaxxing and stuff, and I've noticed that it could be physically dangerous, it could affect you emotionally, mentally, and then another unforeseen side effect I've noticed is that this is like kind of a movement that's really misogynistic in manosphere, and it kind of like demoralizes women. Like, what do you have to say like on the whole woman front?
Here's what I think that stems from. I think women have been Looksmaxxing. They're the original Looksmaxxers for so long. And then men get into the space and they hard max it and they take it to another level and they dominate the space. And I think women don't like that. I don't think they like seeing men take themselves serious and put themselves above women. And that's what's happening now is men are looking good. They're realizing, wait, all these girls are getting fat. I'm getting fit. I don't care about that as much. You don't get my attention anymore. And women hate that, man. They hate it. So that's why this is misogynistic. No, this is self-improvement. And we're just not going to associate with people who aren't self-improving.
So then what about the aspect that like this movement and influencers and stuff like that, it's really targeted towards like young men and even some men that are still in grade school. Like, do you not think that that could be dangerous from a society point of view, giving all these ideologies to young, impressionable boys?
I don't. You're going to have people in any category that are going to take things too far in literally anything. I don't see anything wrong with telling young men, hey, be the best version of yourself. And if that's looks, it's looks. Now, I'm not going to advocate for surgery for anyone under 18 when it's not necessary. I'm not going to take it that far, but I don't think there's anything wrong with telling a guy that you need to expect more from yourself and you need to do what's necessary to do that best, to be that best version of yourself. So no, I have no problem with it being targeted to a younger audience at all.
Well, what about like mental health? Like some people, like what we were finding, like they just realize like, hey, I'm just like not attractive. And this movement kind of demoralizes like ugly people, to say the least.
Yeah. Have you heard of Darwinism?
Darwinism, the ideology of survival of the fittest. I have heard of Darwinism.
Some people just can't take it, right? And the goal of this is not to have people become depressed and what entails with that, what comes with that. But some people just can't handle competition and they're just getting exposed to it a little earlier. And for those people that can't handle it, that's fine. You don't need to participate. That's the awesome thing about the internet. You can just turn it off and you can go live your chud lifestyle. The rest of us, we're going to rise to the occasion and we're going to Looksmaxx. We're going to be the best version of ourselves and we're going to walk all over you. So some people just can't handle it. And I think it's good to establish who those people are. The people you see fighting against Looksmaxxing and, oh, this is going to make me depressed. It's like, okay, then you were going to get crushed in the real world anyways. So I think it's a positive.
Okay, well then what about like these methods of Looksmaxxing, like stuff like peptides? Like you could have like bad allergic reactions, or it could make you break out or you get too skinny? Like, is that like, do the benefits of peptides and stuff really outweigh all the negatives?
Absolutely. And I'll be honest, Jake, you say negatives. I'm sure you've talked to some anti-peptide people. I'm a big peptide guy, peptide enthusiast, if you will. There's really, if you're following protocol and you're doing stuff right, there's really not negatives like that. And you say, oh, the negatives from this. People have negatives from running around in grass, from being in the sun too long, right? It's just really looking at what case study are you looking at? Are you focusing on the millions of people who have ascended and their life has gotten so much better? Or are you focusing on the, one and however many that probably did something wrong, didn't follow protocol, and had a bad reaction? So all in all, yes, it's 100% worth any side effects that come with it. And for the people that don't do it correctly and experience really negative side effects, they were just dumb about how they went about it, and they didn't educate themselves. So it's their fault.
Well, along that, like with all this in mind, the mental health, the misogyny, the dangers of like the medical conditions and peptides you could do, like, should we really be encouraging and participating in Looksmaxxing as a society?
Yes, I truly do believe so. And I can, at the end of the day, I can only speak for myself. And I just know how much better my life got once I realized, Hunter, you're kind of fat. Wait, Hunter, you're the laughing stock. Hunter, you're the chubby joke of the group. I took myself serious, and how I feel is so much better. How I'm perceived is so much better. And I'm really just speaking to the kids out there who are that chubby kid that thinks like, oh, this is just my destiny to be the chubby, funny kid, the joke of the group. Man, it does not have to be like that. Take yourself serious, get your health in check, start looking good. You will be amazed how the new people you meet now, the people they won't like that. They don't like it anymore. The new people you meet, they're going to love you and treat you so much better. So yes, I think we should be Looksmaxxing.
Well, thank you. That leaves me, I have still a lot to think about here, but I'm glad I got a second opinion on this.
Of course, Jake.
You know, guys, I'm sitting here thinking, and I'm really confused on what I should be doing. I had that follow-up interview with Hunter, and it left me with more questions than answers, so to say. And I got this turmoil inside of me, and I don't really know which pathway I should be going down. On one end, I started off this journey wondering what this was. Hunter lit a fire under me to go be a Looksmaxxer. Noah gave me a foundation to build on when I was learning about what the history of this was. And then you have Kieran teaching me how to actually be a Looksmaxxer. Dr. Ariel really explained how peptides and proteins work, so I got to get a better understanding of that. But with all that being said, the negatives could also outweigh the pros. You have the issue of mental health on, am I pretty enough? Am I good looking enough to attract a mate? Do people see me as someone they want to be around, such as the halo effect? You have the issue with maybe becoming a Looksmaxxer makes you more prejudiced, racist, sexist. You know, at the end of the day, I'm still wondering here, should I really be Looksmaxxing?